Namaste viewers. Welcome once again to a fantastic episode of Dekho Apna Desh series. What makes it special are so many things put together today. Number one, we finished 100 of the Dekho Apna Desh, and today is, as it's become very trendy these days to say season 1, season 2. So today we are on season 2, episode 1, starting another series of Dekho Apna Desh. We have been bringing to you series away from Dekho Apna Desh with the guides, which has already done 15. So yes, technically 116th, but we'd rather call this the first one of the Dekho Apna Desh because this one is so utterly special for everyone. Because we are going to take you in the heart of Delhi to the National War Memorial, which commemorates so much of the spirit of the martyrs who have laid down their lives to be sitting for all of us in independent India, holding our heads high and saying, I'm a proud Indian of an independent India in the 75th year of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So it's a brilliant year for all of us to once again resolve in our own ways of saying, I'm going to take my country right up there. So welcome everybody to a very special episode of Dekho Apna Desh. And I'm going to introduce you first to a colleague and a dear friend and a batchmate from the Ministry of Tourism, Mr. Kamal Vardhan Rao. He is the Director General in the Ministry of Tourism. He's also managing the ITDC chain of hotels and events and a lot of other things. He's from the Kerala cadre. He's not only here now in the Ministry of Tourism, but has a long experience of tourism in a state which has been leading in tourism for a long time in India. Apart from that, he's done a number of deputations in the central government, and therefore he brings with him a lot of experience of working with the government. And he's also an avid traveler. So he brings in a lot of interesting things to tourism. So welcome, Kamal. It's a pleasure to have you with us today in
Thank you
Big
so much.
Stage.
Thank you.
And before I ask you to speak, and I am going to do a longer introduction for our very special presenter today, Major General Alok Raj. Alok ji, namaskar, welcome. And thank you for accepting our request to be our presenter for the day. I'm going to introduce him a little later, viewers, but first I'm going to request the Director General, Ministry of Tourism, Mr. Rao, to share with us what does he think about the subject that we are dealing with today.
Thank you so much, Rupendra. Respected Major General Alok Rajji, PVSM, AVSM, and the Chief Coordinator of War Memorial, New Delhi. Rupendra Brar, and ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure, and also I'm really honored to speak particularly on discussing of the War Memorial in New Delhi. I recollect whatever Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has mentioned during his visit to this War Memorial during this inauguration in 2019 during Kargil Vijay Divas. He said, we remember their sacrifices. We remember their valor, and their bravery motivates us every single day. This, with this motto, with this philosophy, Honorable Prime Minister wanted to have a war memorial for all those people, all the brave soldiers who laid their lives in protecting the borders of this country, safeguarding the life of 135 crores of population of this country. And I personally, I also, as collector in 1999, along with many collectors, various collectors in the country, we shared the grief and also the pride, grief by receiving the martyrs' bodies who laid their lives in the Kargil War in 1999. We used to receive the martyrs' bodies and give their ceremonial salutes in their villages, along with their parents, along with their wives, along with their children, and we really shared that grief with them, and of course with a lot of pride. many officials, senior officials were also, we lost lives during Kargil War. And this war memorial, is very, very important for our country because, it has the names, it has the names of so many soldiers there, and different categories who laid their lives in Pakistan, Indo-Pakistan War, Indo-Chinese War, and of the Operation Pavan, of Operation Raksha. When you see this war memorial, it has got 4 chakras. So one chakra speaks about Amar Chakra, another is Veera Chakra, one is Tyaga Chakra and Raksha Chakra, reflecting that the Amar Chakra is that they're immortal. as it says that eternal flame, that Amar Jawan Jyoti. So the lives them they it all reflects their eternal value, and Veera Chakra, their valor, and the Tyaga Chakra, their sacrifices, and Raksha Chakra, the way they have protected our country. So when you enter this war memorial, you can see Captain Manoj Pandey's gallery, who was later conferred with Param Veer Chakra, that is the highest honor in the military field, that we honored them, and various stories that you can hear once you enter. You have the Wi-Fi connectivity. You can log into that app and listen to the brave stories of all the soldiers. So, Honorable President of India and the Prime Minister of India, they visit on the Republic Day and Armed Forces Day, which falls under 8th and 27th October, 4th December, and the heads of the services, they visit. Armed Forces Flag Day on the 7th December, CDS and other three chiefs, they visit. Kargil Vijay Divas, which is on 26th July. Again, it is people visit there, and Vijay Divas 16th December 1970, which commemorates 1971 Bangladesh war. So this war, all these war memorials, having a war memorial is something which is there internationally. If you see, it is in the shape of maybe in a pillar. It will be in museums. You have landscapes. So various forms are given to this war memorials internationally. If you go to Washington DC, Vietnam War Memorial, it's in a huge building. If you see Irish National War Memorial Gardens, it's in Dublin. It's in the form of a garden. If you see the Pacific War Memorials in France, it is both in the garden as well as in the building. And Sailors Memorial architecture in Connecticut, 118 feet long. It in 17th century it was constructed. It's a very tall building. So you have statues, you have buildings, you have museums, stadiums also, and gateways. So we are, the kind of budgets also which are going into this, how these soldiers and the major generals and military which is protecting our countries. Why are you spending so much? Because we are losing life. Life is very, very important. And losing life in the war, where are we losing? How much money we are spending? If you take the expenditure of our neighboring countries, Sri Lanka spends 1.86 billion on their defense. Bangladesh spends 4.5 billion. Pakistan spends 12 billion, and Indian government spends 73.86 billion dollars every year. In their 32 lakh crores of budget and annual budget, you have 73.86 billion in 2021, and USA spends 715 billion, and UK spends 68 billion, and China spent more than 61 billion. So these are all, the why we are spending money for what? Protecting our borders, where our people are living in extremely difficult conditions, whether it is a desert, whether it is mountains, cold places. People spend their lives, and so that entire 135 crore population sleep peacefully without any fear. So this brings me to how the most beautiful places in the world, in Kashmir, in Ladakh, in Rajasthan, and northeastern states in the north, we are missing out one of the most beautiful places because of our diplomatic relations, because of our border disputes and all. So tourism is one of the major casualty in this entire warfare. We're spending a lot of time in spending this warfare and missing out on the tourism. Earlier, people were doing shootings in these places, but they're unable to go. So, the border tourism is one of the major significant areas, which are just emerging as important areas of the tourism. 18 Indian states of the Union Territories, they share there with the 7 neighboring countries, which have beautiful mountains and peaks and scenic beauties and wildlife and local culture that we have been missing. And Home Affairs, Minister of Home Affairs is they're taking all steps to see that they provide a peaceful atmosphere for bringing in more domestic tourists as well as international tourists. So the major objective of the border tourism is to integrate the local population with the mainstream, and to build the capacity of the local population towards a responsible tourism. When we visited Leh, Ladakh, and interacted with the government officials there, everybody speaks about the strengthening of homestays there, the capacity building of the locals, both female. There's a lot of employment activity can be generated, economy can be improved there. So all in this process of popularizing border tourism, we have already conducted, Ministry of Tourism conducted 16 webinars speaking about the beautiful places of Arunachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, Punjab, Meghalaya, Gujarat, Nagaland, and all under Dekho Apna Desh. And beating the retreat ceremony at Wagah border is one of the finest examples of popularizing border tourism. Indo-Pak retreat ceremony at Hussainiwala border, which is also emerging as an interesting place, which you are trying to, Minister of Tourism is trying to popularize. Sima Darshan project at Nadabet in Banaskantha districts of Gujarat, which was inaugurated in December 2016, is getting visitors around 4,000 to 5,000 visitors during weekends. And Lahore Valley in Himachal Pradesh is emerging as one of the finest destinations, which shares its border with China. You have recently in Leh, inner line permits have been done away with, and more than 17 flights are landing in Leh every day, and attracting domestic and international tourists. If you come to Jammu Kashmir, this is this real sad story. That we are unable to showcase to the international tourists. Poonch district, which is popular, which has got the line of control which divides north and west and southern. In 1947-48, it divided the Poonch district into two. And in Poonch, fort is very popular, which was constructed in 1750 when Raja Rustum Khan has constructed this. And many students of this country, they really don't know about this Poonch fort. And Ramkund, the belief is that Ram has visited Lord Rama has visited Ramkund in Kashmir. Buddha Amrit Shrine, which is very popular, where Shiva Linga was also, it was founded there at the foothills of Pir Panchal mountain. People still visit this place. And Nangali Sahib Gurudwara is very popular Gurudwara. Nuri Cham, it is believed that Nur Jahan, Jahangir's mistress, she lived here, and Jahangir spent quite amount of time here in such a beautiful place. There's a garden also named after Nur Jahan. And if you see both sides of LOC of Jammu Kashmir, which are really suffering from lack of infrastructure, and recently Government of India, they wanted to have develop infrastructure in Pithoragarh district, the tricycle of Pithoragarh district. Minister of Tourism is making some plans to increase the infrastructure there. If you take Rajouri district, Chinggis Fort is very popular there. I believe it is believed that Jahangir, after his demise, Chinggis means intestines. His intestines are removed so that his body is not decomposed. It was taken to Lahore later, where his final rites were done. And Habba Khatun Peak is very popular there. Habba Khatun, popular poetess of Kashmir. And in the Gurez Valley, which is very popular for adventure tourism, people can do river rafting, the mountaineering, kayaking, canoeing can be done at this Guro Valley. Then Harmukh Peak is also emerging as a popular district. When in Kargil district, Dras Valley, people go from Leh, when they travel from Leh to Kargil. On the way, you have a Dras Valley, which has got the Kargil Memorial there. From there, they go to Srinagar on the way. The oldest Buddhist monasteries are available there. Zanskar Valley, Nubra Valley, all these valleys. Many people are doing this adventure trekking. Adventure trekking is being done, and biking, motorbiking. Younger generation is taking up into motorbiking. So we must. These are the places which have emerged as popular tourist destinations recently. This we have to capitalize this, and balancing. The local soldiers also, when we interacted on the border with the defense officials there, They are very, very carefully guiding these adventure tourists, motorbiking people, and they're also contributing in creating some kind of medical facilities at the foothills for the main peaks, including Everest. So the entire military forces, all of them are involved in developing this border tourism. We're extremely happy in discussing with them, in dealing with them, and engaging them. And entire military officials, we are thankful to them in who are promoting adventure tourism, trekking, and other border tourism aspects. So we are very thankful to the military forces and the defense forces, and let this we don't want any kind of loss of lives there. We want their presence to be there, and we salute them. We salute all the people who are there protecting our country. And this eternal flame, the Amar Jawan Jyoti, let it be there. Let this light will be giving to lives to all the people of this country. With this I conclude. Jai Hind. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Mr. Rao. That was such an amazing, it kind of set the context of why are we bringing this session to you today? Why does Tourism Ministry want to show to all of you the National War Memorial, the whole emotion, the whole sentiment of Dekho Apna Desh, in an essence, I would say, is actually captured over there. And viewers, believe me, I've been there 3 times, and it's my privilege that I've been 3 times there in the last fortnight, and every single time it's a different experience. And last year I also had the fortune of going to the Kargil War Memorial, and I would encourage everybody to go there, because the kind of feeling that you get over there is something that cannot be explained in the words. You just have to stand there and experience what our soldiers actually go and do when we say, it's not just words that they are protecting our country. It is an emotion, it's an action. What is that nation that we talk about? What is that concept of the nation that a soldier actually stands there and protects? So thank you so much once again for such amazing words, Mr. Rao. And now moving on to our main presenter for the day. I did give you guys a hint that we have somebody special coming in, Major General Alok Raj. Welcoming you to the Ekopna Desh. He's joining us from Jaipur today. And he was commissioned with the Indian Army in 1983 and went to the Rashtriya Military School. And he's going to tell you more about that, because I asked him, did he have any moments when he says, this is it, I can't do more of this, because they really grill you in the NDA and also in the school there. So, but he said no, he was committed to the cause of serving the nation through the army. And he continued to do that till very recently. He's been part of the NCC. He does not come from a family of forces. It was NCC that actually motivated him to join the forces. Incidentally, on that, I must also remind all of you that just a couple of days back, the Honorable Prime Minister was addressing the NCC cadets, and he also mentioned that he was also an NCC cadet. So there must be something in that organization, I think. And I'm therefore encouraging all the younger lot and all people like me to encourage their children, go and experience NCC. I think it does something to us. But then he was born in Bharatpur, so in Rajasthan, and living in nature, a lot of time in his school in Rajasthan, since his father was in the government. They were traveling. So he went to schools in different places. But he was commissioned into later the Sikh Light Infantry. So instead of dal bati, when I asked him what are his favorite foods, he said kadi chawal, rajma chawal, makke di roti, sarson da saag. That's an Indian for you, right? You could be born anywhere and you could actually be enjoying other things. I'm sure he's been posted in different parts of the country, and that defines the Indian of today. We are born in a place, but then it's the Indianness that lives within us, and that's incredible India, and those are the incredible Indians. He's been part of the IPKF force that went to Sri Lanka as part of the operations of the Indian peacekeeping force. He's also been part of the counter-terrorist operations at Jammu Kashmir and a lot of other things. But what is very important, and that is something I think that works for everyone, is that I was asking him that how did he manage, because these are professional challenges, but they're also personal challenges, because all of us, as we go along our life and fulfill our professional commitments, also have a lot of personal things to do, right? And so he was, gracious enough to admit that on the personal front, He could never have done what he did without his wife, Seema Rajji. So, so salute to all the families also who stand with people who are working to take our beautiful, incredible India forward, and how everybody gets together to take incredible India forward. Now, Colonel Saab, Major General Alok Raj, I am going to ask you to bring to us the National War Memorial live on a virtual screen today.
Thank you so much, Rupinder ji. Thank you so much, Sri Rao. Jai Hind, everyone, my brothers, sisters, friends, my seniors, elders, all across the world. My gratitude to the Ministry of Tourism for giving me this opportunity, this privilege to talk about National War Memorial. It is indeed my privilege and honor to talk and pay tribute to India's gallant soldiers who were killed in action, our fallen bravehearts. I must also thank all those who are connected. I see the number has gone to about something like 828 currently who was online for sparing their valuable time. I will take you on a virtual tour of about 40-45 minutes. Allow me to just share my screen.
So as Major General is sharing the screen, I must, on the lighter side, share with all of you that between Mr. Rao and me, we've been calling him Major and Colonel off and on. You know why? Because he's keeping fit, because he's a marathoner. So we keep forgetting that he's actually a Major General.
Absolutely fit.
मैं बताना चाहूंगा कि मैं कोई एक्सपर्ट नहीं हूं नेशनल वॉर मेमोरियल और किसी मेमोरियल का. It's just that I played an important role in completion of National War Memorial when the stipulated timelines by the Ministry of Defense were not being met for a variety of reasons, various challenges, sometimes beyond the control of the authorities who were involved in it. In fact, I am one of many who were involved in the research, who were involved in research, planning, and building this great iconic monument. Just that I was man of the moment when it got completed on 25th February 2019. In fact, the National War Memorial is one of the only monument of national importance of modern India, especially of this century. कोई और national monument इस National War Memorial के comparison में नहीं आता है, not at least from the national importance point of view. Well, just to acquaint you with the location of National War Memorial in New Delhi, I think you're all aware of India Gate, Rashtrapati Bhavan. आप देख सकते हैं स्क्रीन के ऊपर राष्ट्रपति भवन, इंडिया गेट. This is connected by Rajpath and Vijaypath. Rajpath was known as Kingsway. And National War Memorial or Rashtriya Samar Smarak is east of India Gate, about 250 meters. Somewhere in the south is Humayun Tomb, and somewhere west is Dhola Kuan. It is interesting to note the National War Memorial is at the apex of the central vista, which is under development. You see on the screen, this is the logo of National War Memorial, and on the west is the Rashtrapati Bhavan. This is Vijay Chowk, and then we have the Rajpath, where we had this majestic Republic Day parade done on 26th of January. Before I proceed any further, it will be fitness of things to just play a 1-minute video. This was like an executive summary of the presentation. So I thought I must share it with you all. A word about the sequence. I shall very briefly touch upon the background and genesis of National War Memorial, its design and layout, construction process, glimpses of the monument, routine and activities that are carried out there, and a few tips for the visitors and suggestions for our tourism fraternity. Well, on the screen, you see some pictures of the war memorials of foreign countries. इस slide में आप देख रहे हैं कुछ memorials हैं. What is a war memorial? Memorial क्या है? What is war memorial? Actually, war memorial is a building, a monument, a statue or an edifice to celebrate a war, a victory, or to commemorate those killed in the line of duty, in action, in conflict. A war memorial attempts to invoke a deep sense and moving experience. War memorial serves as a symbol for future generations. आने वाले generations को inspire करने के लिए ये प्रेरणा देने का स्रोत होता है. A war memorial provides opportunity to the visitors to develop a conscious connect with the site, with the institution by whom it has been built, and for the people in whose memory the structure is built. And therefore, war memorial is a very, very important monument or edifice of a country. इस पिक्चर में आप देख रहे हैं the India Gate. This is the erstwhile war memorial of the British era. You can also see the Rajpath and Rashtrapati Bhavan further east, and onto the left of it is the South Block, and to the right of it is the North Block. And this is the famous Canopy, where very recently the hologram of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose has been unveiled by Honorable Prime Minister on 23rd of January. And therefore, I thought I just mention a little bit about the history. Well, India Gate को सब जानते हैं, ये राजपथ के ईस्ट में है. इसका निर्माण 1931 में किया गया था. It was completed and it was commemorated. It was to commemorate those killed in action in the First World War and the Third Anglo-Afghan War. इन दो लड़ाइयों में ब्रिटिश एंड इंडियन आर्मी के करीबन 83,000 सोल्जर्स ने प्राणों को न्यौछावर किया था. एंड इन 83,000 नामों में से इंडिया गेट के ऊपर करीबन 13,516 नाम इस इंडिया गेट पर इंस्क्राइब्ड हैं, खुदे हुए हैं, लेकिन करीबन 75,000 नाम अभी भी मिसिंग है. उसके बाद सेकंड वर्ल्ड वॉर हुआ, लेकिन सेकंड वर्ल्ड वॉर का कोई भी मेमोरियल नहीं है, विच इज ऑल एनकम्पसिंग. तो सेकंड वर्ल्ड वॉर की जो कैजुअलिटीज थी, जिन्होंने बहादुर जवानों ने, हमारे ब्रिटिश इंडियन आर्मी के बहादुर जवानों ने अपनी जान न्यौछावर की, उनका कोई भी मेमोरियल नहीं है. बट आफ्टर इंडिपेंडेंस, Indian armed forces were involved in many conflicts and participated in a number of operations. Even now, India continues to engage in counter-terrorist operations and counter-insurgency operations. These operations, these campaigns or conflicts are the proxy wars being waged from across the border, where a number of our soldiers lay down their life and have laid down their lives in past, fighting the terrorists and the insurgents. To recognize these sacrifices, some memorials are built all across the country, some for a particular battle, some for a particular formation, for a particular region across the country. But none of these are all-encompassing. A word about the Amar Jawan Jyoti. जैसा कि पूरा विश्व जानता है कि 1971 में भारत ने पाकिस्तान के ऊपर युद्ध में विजय प्राप्त की थी. उस युद्ध में हमारे करीबन 4,000 से ज्यादा बहादुर सैनिकों ने सुप्रीम सैक्रिफाइस किया था. To commemorate this victory in 1971 and to pay tribute to those gallant soldiers, a structure of inverted rifle and helmet was established below the Arch of India Gate in January of 1972. I like to remind you that this was a makeshift structure built overnight, and also there were no names of those killed in the conflict were mentioned anywhere. And therefore, it was an unfinished agenda, and it only related to 1971 war, that is the 71 war of India and Pakistan. Well, what is the background of National War Memorial? National War Memorial कैसे आया? जैसा कि आप सब समझ सकते हैं, राष्ट्र स्तर पर अभी तक कोई भी वॉर मेमोरियल नहीं था. I am saying till 2019. So many war memorials existed, battle memorials existed, but none had account of all those killed since independence. None all encompassing. Thus arose the need of a memorial at the national level. Idea to construct a war memorial had been under consideration since 1961. Over 25,000 soldiers had laid down their lives till about 2017 to defend the sovereignty and integrity of our country. A national level war memorial was really needed to represent the gratitude of the nation to its armed forces and to our war heroes. However, after due deliberations and much efforts by the present government, the Union Cabinet of the present government on 7th October 2015 approved the project to construct National War Memorial. It was to be constructed at Siaghzagan, which is the most prime location. देश की सबसे prime location है जो कि east of India Gate है. जैसे कि आप पिक्चर में देख सकते हैं, this is Siaghzagan, which is about 90 acres. There are 6 lawns. The National War Memorial was allotted over 40 acres of land to come up in lawn number 1, lawn 2, lawn 3, and a portion of lawn 4 where we have this children's park. This project was to be built with 176 crore rupees, and it was titled as a prestigious project so that it could come up in time and it with certain facilities. The construction work of National War Memorial began in the January of 2018. A word about the scope and the perspective of National War Memorial. This is, you see, the logo of National War Memorial. This is the obelisk, and this is the eternal flame here. And National War Memorial is known as राष्ट्रीय समर स्मारक. मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा अभी कि नेशनल वॉर मेमोरियल का क्या मसौदा था, स्कोप क्या था, सोच विचार क्या थी, क्यों बनाया गया. नेशनल वॉर मेमोरियल was to stand as testimony to the sacrifices made by our soldiers. It is important to note that it covers the period since independence. 1947 के बाद ये सभी लड़ाइयाँ, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, ऑपरेशंस, चाहे वो देश में हुई हो, चाहे बाहर हुई हो, ओवरसीज हो, चाहे यूनाइटेड नेशन के साथ में हुई हो, और यहाँ तक कि हमारे बैटल कैजुअलिटीज जो कि ह्यूमैनिटेरियन असिस्टेंस और डिजास्टर रिस्पॉन्स में हुई हो, उन सभी कैजुअलिटीज, उन सभी सोल्जर्स को इसमें इंक्लूड किया गया है. नेशनल वॉर मेमोरियल बनाने का क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव था, एम क्या थे, ये जानना बहुत जरूरी है. It was to inculcate a sense of national pride amongst its citizens, to commemorate the Indian soldiers who made supreme sacrifice for the country post-independence, to remember rich national history and showcase the military traditions of our armed forces as shining examples of our selfless service to the nation. जब नेशनल वॉर मेमोरियल को बनाया गया 3 साल पहले, तब सोल्जर्स किल्ड इन एक्शन की संख्या थी वो करीबन 26,000 थी, और अब ये बढ़ के 2021 के आखिर तक 26,363 हो चुकी है, 26,363. इन सभी का नाम नेशनल वॉर मेमोरियल पर अभी लिखा जा रहा है. At this juncture, let me also put National War Memorial in correct perspective. Well, National War Memorial is not a cemetery. It is not a place to feel sad or wail about. It must remind visitors of the valor of our soldiers in adversities and their sacrifices. India, it must be noted that India does not propagate war. हमारा देश युद्ध को बढ़ावा नहीं देता, but we will not hesitate to protect our territorial integrity against any adversary, even at the cost of any number of sacrifices. And this will be clear to you when I talk about the Banawat of National War Memorial. Coming to the design and layout of National War Memorial, this is a picture wherein you see the jury that was to decide on the design of National War Memorial. You can also see late CDS General Vipin Rawat, who was recently awarded Param Vibhushan. National War Memorial का डिजाइन करने में विश्व स्तर के का एक कॉम्पिटिशन हुआ था. It was done in 2 stages in 2016. There were few restrictions which had to be incorporated in the National War Memorial, such as National War Memorial was to conform to the central vistas grandeur. उसकी जो भव्यता है उसके मुताबिक बनना था. There were height restrictions that any structure which is being built in National War Memorial must not obstruct the India Gate. Therefore, there's a height restriction, and therefore most of the National War Memorial had to come up subsurface. This competition, which was done at global level, there were 428 entries. The entries were examined by the jury, which was headed by Shri Amol Palekar ji, and you also see Sudha Murthy ji, Shri Jatin Das ji, and others, eminent members of the jury. The winner of this competition was a young architect, Shri Yogesh Chandrahasan of Chennai. He was awarded $30,000, and he was also appointed the project consultant. His concept or his design, the core theme was a pattern of concentric circles, that is Samkakshiya chakras based on the chakra view. What about the layout of the monument? As you see on the screen, the monument was to come up in the sea hexagon, in this lawns, and over 40 acres, about 44 acres east of India Gate. This is the East India Gate, Canopy, and this is where is the concentric circle patterns of National War Memorial. On lawn 1, we have this Param Yodha Sthal, and then there are these 2 public plazas, one to the north of Canopy and one to the south of Canopy next to the Children's Park. And there were other north and south complex which were supposed to come up underground. Another word about the layout of the National War Memorial. As I mentioned, there was a height restriction, and therefore most structures had to build subsurface. This is the north complex I was mentioning. There's a south complex, and this whole structure that you see here is subsurface. And no walls are more than about a meter plus in this entire area. The layout of the War Memorial complex had to be in harmony with the existing layout and the symmetry of the majestic Rajpath and central vista. If you notice here, the concept of the National War Memorial, as I mentioned, was based on the distinct pattern of concentric circles. The Umar Chakra in the middle with an obelisk here. This is the Virta Chakra, which is a gallery, subsurface gallery. There's a Tyag Chakra. These are Tyag Chakra walls, about 32 of them, all across in concentric circles. And finally, Raksha Chakra. You see this, these are the trees representing soldiers here. And of course, I must mention that there is a scope of expansion, as we are sure in case if adversaries force us to go to war, we will not hesitate to make sacrifices in future. The entire National War Memorial, is solemnity of the ambience is maintained with an emphasis on the landscaping and the simplicity of its architecture. Now, a word about the construction process. Well, National War Memorial construction was a mega project it was to be coming up in the very sensitive zone, high security zone. इसलिए इसमें काफी challenges थे. Since it was to come up subsoil, you notice the water surface. The water here was very shallow. It came up even before we expected it. There were a whole lot of underground pipelines, wires, network of underground things, and therefore it was not easy, and there were major challenges. The work went about for over 10 months, and the workforce used for this was nearly 1,000 men per day. Few pictures of the construction process. You see here on the left is Nirmala Sitharamanji, our Honorable Raksha Mantri then, was being briefed by General Parashar, who was the Chief Project Coordinator before I joined, the Chief Engineer of the project, along with others visiting the site. This is the site being, it was monitored very regularly by Honorable Raksha Mantri ji, Chairman, Chief of Staff's Committee, the Defense Secretary, the CISC and the DCITS dot, and of course, major stakeholders on a regular basis. Another picture when the construction is on, and you notice on the top here, as this obelisk is being constructed and being clad, soldiers are already ready to carry out simultaneous practices for various ceremonies, because time was at premium and we wanted to complete this on time. This is a bronze mural which is come up in the Granite Chakra gallery, and this is made of bronze. It was made by the famous sculptor Sri Ram Suthar, who was also instrumental in making the Statue of Liberty, the tallest statue in Gujarat of Sri Sardar Patel. There are 6 such bronze murals which have been installed in the Granite Chakra gallery, and each of these depict some iconic battles since independence. This is the picture of the Sanctum Sanctorum, where we have the obelisk, and if you notice here, this being subsurface, since it was not to obstruct the India Gate, we had to ensure that the barish ka pani jahan pe girega, rainwater, must be drained out, and therefore a huge water tank was made here with capacity of over 14 lakh liters. This is the Paramyodha Sthal that you may see here. This is a public plaza. There are stone murals. There were stone murals depicting different battle scenes made in sandstone. And in Paramyodha Sthal, we were supposed to get busts of Paramveer Chakra awardees or Pavan Chakra winners in bronze murals, in bronze busts. A word about this mega project. This project, it will be the fitness of things to mention that this mega project was a tri-service project. There were efforts by headquarters IDS under the aegis of the Minister of Defense. It was overseen by successive defense secretaries. The project was monitored personally by Honorable Raksha Mantri ji, Shrimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, and then later by Honorable Raksha Mantri Shri Rajnath Singh ji. The project was headed by successive CISCs and executed by successive DCITS dots. They are the 2 top 3-star officers of the headquarters IDS. The list of those contributed is endless. The NDMC, CPWD, Ministry of Urban Development, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Tourism, Delhi Government, Ceremonial and Welfare Directorate of the Army, the Engineer-in-Chief, Territorial Army, Delhi Police, NGOs, Delhi Doordarshan, MTNL, Indraprasth Gas Limited, and list is, I can go on and on. There were scores of veterans and experts from various fields and domains, and countless officials and volunteers who contributed their bit in this mega project. And Not to forget a very strong core team of the Directorate of National War Memorial, which was headed by these chief project coordinators successively, who worked tirelessly day and night. The project was successful. It was a copybook example of teamwork in synergy with multiple ministries and departments and stakeholders. I'd like to just also let you go through the dedication ceremony, which was conducted on 25th February 2019. Well, जब ये सेरेमनी हुई, इसका एक इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट है. नॉर्मली प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब जब लोकार्पण करते हैं किसी भी मेगा प्रोजेक्ट का, इट इज डेडिकेटेड टू द नेशन. बट इन केस ऑफ नेशनल वॉर मेमोरियल, ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी, on behalf of grateful nation, dedicated the memorial to the armed forces and to the fallen heroes. A few pictures of National War Memorial dedication ceremony. You see here on the walls is a layout of the National War Memorial in stone, and it is bilingual. This is where it is written National War Memorial. Few pictures. Rashtriya Samar Smarak. These are the outside pictures of the National War Memorial. And you see these trees, that time those were young trees as part of Raksha Chakra. The picture of the Sanctum Sanctorum, where we have the tri-service ceremonial guard. There were rituals conducted as per the Indian customs. The religious teachers from the armed forces. There's a picture at the base of the obelisk, the Amar Jawan Obelisk, and 4 burners where the eternal flame was supposed to be lit. And this immortal lines, शहीदों के चिताओं पर जुड़ेंगे हर बरस मेले, वतन पर मिटने वालों का यही बाकी निशान हो. There's a picture when the Prime Minister is being conducted post the ceremony by me, along with Honorable Raksha Mantri ji and the CISC then, General Rajeshwar. Honorable Prime Minister meeting the veterans, General Sharma, former ENC, and other serving officers. These are the people who were present at the time of ceremony. You see the parliamentarians, dignitaries from various ministries, departments, serving officers, and veterans. Picture of Honorable Prime Minister when just before departing, he wrote his message on the digital visitor book. Now coming to the glimpses of the monument. This is the picture of National War Memorial taken from India Gate. You see this is the National War Memorial. And in between, of course, we have Canopy, where we have Subhash Chandra Bose hologram come up. The visitors coming from all directions. There's a heavy footfall. Yet I must mention that not many are really aware of National War Memorial, and they think India Gate to be a war memorial of India. The sea hexagon area was once upon a neglected area, disorderly, barren, and however, it is now much greener, orderly, and awe-inspiring. Unfortunately, I could not manage an aerial photo of the National War Memorial as on date because of some flight restrictions there for last 2 years. This is an old picture, but National War Memorial now stands much, much greener. The picture of the visitors, the heavy footfall. The footfall can range anything from 5,000 to 25,000 per day, depending upon the day of the visit. On weekends, it is much higher. And of course, depending upon the season of the year, we have larger footfall in the winters and little lesser in the summers when the schools are open or whatever. Coming to the chakras, this is the Raksha Chakra. You see this young trees that were planted that time, about 715 of them. This Raksha Chakra is also known as Circle of Protection. There are rows of trees in the Raksha Chakra, which reassure the citizens of the country about their safety against any threat. Each tree represents here soldiers who ensure the territorial integrity of the nation round the clock. ये सभी trees अभी काफी बड़े हो गए हैं, स्वस्थ हो गए हैं, and the entire area around Raksha Chakra is landscape with sprawling lawns. This is the Yak Chakra. You see this walls clad with granite tablets. I must mention that the entire floor is flamed granite stone, and the walls are clad with sandstone in beige color. Picture of Yak Chakra. There are some 16 walls, and each wall has two sides. So there are 32 wall faces, and each of these are numbered. You can see here, this is 1 Delta, 1 Charlie. And then there is an app of the National War Memorial, with the help of which you can trace each of these granites, each of these names very easily within few seconds. And therefore, this app is very useful when we are visiting the National War Memorial. Yak Chakra is also known as Circle of Sacrifice. The circular concentric walls of honor symbolize the ancient war formation of Chakravyuh, which is from a famous epic of Mahabharata. Another picture of Yak Chakra. If you see here, the walls are clad with granite tablets, where an independent granite tablet is dedicated to each soldier who has made supreme sacrifice. This is the unique feature of National War Memorial of this India. Otherwise, in most other war memorials, the names are inscribed on the walls in rows and in tables. But this is, however, most unique feature of our National War Memorial. Now, this is a picture of a National War Memorial of a granite tablet, where you have this service number of the soldier, his rank, his name, and even his decoration mentioned along with his unit. And this can be easily also traced in the National War Memorial app. In National War Memorial, we have put 29,760 granite tablets. But however, only about 26,000 names are inscribed. You see here, these granite tablets do not bear any names. So 2,000 tablets are not inscribed and cater for our future sacrifices. An interesting scene where school children are trying to find out the names of the soldiers who laid down their lives at Yak Chakra. These scenes, emotionally charged scenes, are very common at Yak Chakra. You have the ladies, the next of kins of soldiers visiting, wife with children trying to place a flower. And I have seen, when I was there at the National War Memorial, such scenes were very common. And I sometimes noticed some of these ladies were there for hours just in the same pose. Very moving scenes. Another picture, possibly foreigners, I do not know who they were, paying tribute at Yak Chakra. Could be they had some connection with Indian relatives. Coming next to the Virta Chakra, this is a gallery which is a subsurface. There are 6 bronze murals placed here. Battle of Titwal, Battle of Razangla, Battle of Ganga Sagar, Battle of Longewala, Operation Trident, and Operation Meghdut. Iconic battles since independence. And as I mentioned, there are many other battles which have been showcased at National War Memorial in stone walls, in stone murals, as well as in steel panels in North and South complex. Another picture of the Virta Chakra gallery, where you see these murals being visited by the visitors. A mural, as I mentioned, each of these mural weighs anything from 600 kgs to about 1 ton. And placing them on the walls was a major challenge. If you notice here, the citation of this mural is mentioned here in English. When Honorable Prime Minister was visiting and when I was conducting, he instructed that we should also put these inscriptions in Hindi. And since then, these Hindi inscriptions have come up. However, I don't have that photograph here. This mural is that of Battle of Ganga Sagar that was fought in 1971, where Lance Naik Albert Ikka was awarded Paramveer Chakra. This is Lance Naik Albert Ikka, who's storming the bunker and killing the enemy in hand-to-hand fight. He was awarded this Paramveer Chakra posthumously, Maranoparant. There's another mural, that of Operation Trident, battle fought in 1971, famous Indian Navy's battle, wherein an offensive was launched by our Indian Navy on Pakistan's port city of Karachi. Another mural, Battle of Razangla, where we had Paramveer Chakra, Major Shaitan Singh, and they are the officers of SS-29 Coast who are viewing this mural. We have officers coming in their batches, laying wreath there, and paying tribute on a regular basis. This is a picture of Umar Chakra. This is the Umar Chakra. In the center of it, this obelisk. A soldier is always placed here on duty who guards the Umar Chakra and the eternal flame. And you notice that visitors do not venture into this Sanctum Sanctorum, and they are not told much. They are hardly instructed, but I think it is correct to our Indian public in their sense of belonging and dedication that they follow instructions without being told, just following others. All the movement in this around the Sanctum Sanctorum is done in clockwise direction. Here we have the pictures of the obelisk, the eternal flame, where Amar Jawan Jyoti was recently merged on 21st January. The famous immortal lines of the poem of famous Kavi, Shri Jagdamba Prasad Mishra, Hitashi ji. शहीदों के चिताओं पर जुड़ेंगे हर बरस महले, वतन पर मिटने वालों का यही बाकी निशान होगा. This flame is always on 24/7 round the year and is guarded by soldiers. I must mention that it was a correct move when the Amar Jawan Jyoti from India Gate was merged here in this eternal flame. It was restored to its rightful designated and deserving place. As part of the National War Memorial, to the further east of the obelisk is this statue of ever vigilant soldier close to the eastern entrance, and beyond that is Dhyan Chand Stadium. Another perspective of the vigilant soldier, the Tyag Chakras that you see on his right. And now this is an aerial view taken from India Gate of the public plaza, which is a place for waiting and resting. There are conveniences, there are interactive panels. You see this is a picture of interactive panels. There are a whole lot of benches where people can sit down either before the visit or after the visit. यहाँ पर इंटरनेट की सुविधा भी है. In both the public plazas, we also have the stone murals. Now this stone mural is depicting a tri-service joint operation. The citations are written, the descriptions are written in Hindi as well as in English. And as I mentioned, the details can be found in 22 Indian languages on the app, both in the text form as well as in voice overs. The picture of visiting 55th NDA course officers and ladies. You see the former CISC, General Dua, who was steering the project before General Rajeshwar took over from him. Picture of Paramyuddha Sthal. This is at the entrance of the public plaza. Paramyuddha Sthal is an integral part of National War Memorial. There are 21 bronze bus of Paramveer Chakra awardees. Just to mention, of 21 such Paramveer Chakra awardees, 15 were awarded posthumously. यानी कि मरणोपरांत उनको Paramveer Chakra मिला था, and 6 were awarded while they were living. And in the same breath, I must mention, of those 6 who were given Paramveer Chakra by living, 3 of them are still with us, alive and kicking, and we are very proud of them. सभी को जानकारी होगी कि परमवीर चक्र हमारे देश का सर्वोच्च साहस का पुरस्कार है, और इस परम योद्धा स्थल में ये 21 बस लगे हुए हैं. You can see this is a bust, bronze bust of a Paramveer Chakra awardee. और उसके सामने ये citation है जिस पर जो डिटेल्स हैं उसकी लगी हुई है. 3 लिविंग परमवीर चक्र अवॉर्डीज, उनके बस्ट भी यहाँ पर हैं जो कि लिविंग है अभी. ऑनररी कैप्टन्स बाना सिंह साहब, सूबेदार मेजर संजय कुमार साहब और सूबेदार मेजर योगेंद्र यादव साहब. They were given awards in 1987 and later in Kargil operations. You see here, this is the bust of Major Shatan Singh, who was awarded Paramveer Chakra posthumously in Battle of Razangla in 1962. His citation in both Hindi and English is mentioned here. And if you carry your app, if you carry your mobile using your app and headphone, you can actually listen to this entire description. You can read it as well as hear it using your mobile phone and the app of National War Memorial. This is the bust of Rifleman Sanjay Kumar, who's now Subedar Major. He was awarded Paramveer Chakra in the Battle of Tiger Hill, the Kargil operations in 1991. Some pictures of National War Memorial in the evening. Must mention that the lighting was very carefully planned. Theme lighting was done to accentuate the concept of the monument. And the lighting design acts like a catalyst. It transforms the landscape at sunset from day to night. Another picture of Tyak Chakra at night. The theme is warm white theme of lighting. It creates a very soothing ambience and experience for the visitors. You see these granite tablets are lit so that you can read each of these names, which are inscribed in golden letters. Another picture of the Tyak Chakra, and behind this is the Raksha Chakra. This is the obelisk of the National War Memorial, and in the background you can see India Gate with tricolor, and the steps to come down to Umar Chakra are illuminated here. Another picture of the Veer Chakra. You can see this bronze murals which are lit. And you also observe that there are these flag poles where the flags are not there. This picture has been taken post-retreat ceremony. The flags are lowered at the time of retreat. Another picture at night. Picture of the canopy where the hologram of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose has come up. Another picture without the lighting, and you can see the sunset taking place at west of India Gate. Picture of the Vigilant soldier. And this is an aerial view of the National War Memorial at night. Well, this is the layout that is displayed outside the National War Memorial walls, where just to mention some of the facilities, there are drop zones at the radial roads, where the radial roads are there in the hexagon. There's an urban corridor made all along the National War Memorial, which is a twin walking plaza. There are benches there. On the radials, there are walkways. There are the radials where there are walkways. And therefore, those who visit can visit the National War Memorial and can also walk on these plazas. There are wheelchairs placed, which can be used. The wheelchair on the urban corridor. I must mention that National War Memorial has no entry fee, no tickets. It is open to all, Indians, foreigners, anybody. The memorial staff caters for wheelchairs and also the guides and ushers. But however, those have to be booked online as per the slot that you desire. The National War Memorial has been built to cater for the persons with disabilities. Of course, there was some improvement was required, and I am sure that will be ongoing. We cater for drinking water There are conveniences and many locations, cater for first aid, guides, and help desk. And National War Memorial staff can be contacted anytime. There are benches, and I must mention that it takes about 45 minutes to visit around. And since there are benches, sometimes old people require to rest. National War Memorial also has its proper app, as I mentioned, and it will be befitting to mention that if you like to pay obeisance to the heroes, you can do that on the app itself. This app can be downloaded from the Google Play Store. There is a proper website which you can register or you can use. The apps are multilingual, as I mentioned, and voiceover of all descriptions. Every description that is there in National War Memorial has been described on these apps in the website, and you have the voiceover available. The website of the National War Memorial is the nationalwarmemorial.gov.in. You also have a Smarika there, a souvenir shop which is very, very popular. And in fact, most of the time people have to queue up to get their things. A word about the routine and activities at National War Memorial. The War Memorial is open daily, except when on certain days the timings have to be restricted because of ceremonies. It opens at 9 a.m. and it is open till about 8 p.m. In winters, it closes down half an hour early. We have wreath-laying ceremonies on regular basis. There are ceremonial wreath-laying done to commemorate important days by various dignitaries. There's a wreath-laying by the senior dignitaries from foreign countries. There is also a ceremony done as change of guard of the ceremonial guard on Sunday evenings. Sorry. There is a very interesting ceremony that is carried out every day to honor the next of kin of one of the soldiers who was killed in action. It is nearly 20-25 minutes ceremony. It is carried out just before the retreat ceremony in the evening, just before sunset. And therefore, I like to tell all the visitors, anybody who's planning to go and see this, watch this ceremony, and also the retreat ceremony. The retreat ceremony is done every day. It is to symbolize the end of fighting and closure of work for the day. It entails lowering of flags with bugle call of 32 seconds. We have visits by the foreigners and countrymen. And of course, there are a whole lot of organized visits by students, guides, scouts and guides, cadets, and serving personnel and veterans. We have visits by our important dignitaries. President, our Supreme Commander, lays wreath here on 15th of August. President signing the digital war book, digital visitors book. We have the Prime Minister laying wreath here on every Republic Day, as also some of the important selected occasions to commemorate India's victory in conflicts and to pay tribute to our gallant men. The three service chiefs moving to lay wreath. Serving chiefs laying wreath. Another picture when we have a ceremonial function is on. This is the Honorable Minister Shri Reddy, the Minister of Tourism, who recently visited National War Memorial. to play his obeisance. We also have foreign dignitaries. This is the French Defense Minister, Florence Parly, who visited on 17th of December last year. This is the Chief of German Navy, who came in this month. Then, of course, we have these next of kins who visit regularly and place flower at the National War Memorial. As I mentioned, these are very common scenes. This lady has come to place flowers at by Abdullah Mir's Granite Tablet. Children trying to touch the Granite Tablet of their father or possibly a grandfather. Another picture. And such emotional scenes are very, very common when a next of kin is sitting there for hours thinking about his departed one. This is the widow of Major Dhaiya, who was awarded Shaurya Chakra posthumously with her child. And as I was mentioning, next of kin ceremony is very popular. On certain days, there is no place to stand. And I also must mention that the people there require not many instructions. They maintain pin drop silence, keep quiet, and follow all the rules, except sometimes recording the proceedings using their cameras, their mobile phones. Another picture of next of kin ceremony done in the evening prior to the sunset retreat ceremony. Another picture. In this, the next of kin places a wreath at the Raksha Chakra, and later, places a flower at the Raksha Chakra, and later they come and place a wreath at the Obelisk. You see this NOK placing a wreath here, another NOK placing wreath. After the wreath is placed, the NOK then signs the visitor book. Picture of NOK having signed a visitor book. And post this, the next of kin is given a memento from the National War Memorial, which is a very unique one, a very special one. Another picture is of the National War Memorial memento being presented to a next of kin. Now, not everybody is able to lay wreath at the National War Memorial. And therefore, as per the instructions of the Honorable Prime Minister then, these interactive screens have been placed there. Earlier, when I was there, there were 2 screens, and now there are 4 screens where you can pay virtual homage to the martyrs. You can pay virtual homage to an individual soldier who has been killed in action, or to all of them. I'm sorry I use the word martyr. We don't use the word martyr for our soldiers. They are soldiers who are killed in action in the line of duty. This is Honorable Minister of Tourism, Shri Krishna Reddy, who's paying virtual homage. And when you play the virtual homage, this is how you get this screens, the visuals on your screen. I must also mention that we thought National War Memorial will require a lot of cleaning, a lot of upkeep, but we were surprised by our public, by Indian public, whether from the urban areas, from the rural areas. They required no instructions. We have hardly any dustbins, very few dustbins, but the entire area is kept spick and span. There is zero littering by the visitors, be students, kids, anybody. So that was very, very heartening. Well, here I would like to give a few tips for the visitors. I would like to mention that those who are planning to visit National War Memorial must do some preparation before embarking on the visit. You must first of all download the app, visit the website, acquaint yourself. You must cater for at least an hour, if not at least 45 minutes. The best time to visit National War Memorial is in the evenings, when you can watch the NOK ceremony and also the retreat. For any organized visit or for any organized group visit, you must coordinate with the National War Memorial staff, the help desk. You can book wheelchairs. You can book usherers, guides as per the time slots online. I would suggest that don't carry any eatables, bags, suitcases. Drinking water is available there. Must carry your mobile, but only after having downloaded the app. Keep it on silent mode. Only listen. Do not use it for talking. Must carry your headphones. Try to go through the descriptions in the language you choose on the app or the website, so that when you go, you are well equipped and acquainted. When you reach on site, if there is a queue, there is a lot of rush, you can wait at one of the public plazas, or you can even visit Param Yodha Sthal first and then visit the obelisk. You can request for wheelchairs for old and infirm at the entry of the National War Memorial. Just a word of caution, National War Memorial is a solemn place. You must please ensure that the conduct is dignified and respectful. And I would request all those who are watching to please do educate all those who would like to visit National War Memorial, especially the students, children. I like to also mention a word of expectation from the tourism fraternity, because I'm told that a large number of persons who are in the tourism fraternity are also watching this program and is getting recorded for them. And therefore, like to mention that we must portray National War Memorial in the correct perspective. Though we are calling it a war memorial, we do not propagate wars. India is a peace-loving country, it's a peace-loving nation, but when forced, we will not hesitate to make supreme sacrifices to defend our honor and territorial integrity. National War Memorial caters for additional space, as I mentioned, where many thousand of granite tablets for our soldiers who will get killed in action can come up. We have catered for additional rows of Raksha Chakra. It's a clear message to our adversaries to not look at us. Well, I'll request the tourism fraternity to popularize National War Memorial, apprise and educate hotel and lodge owners, tour operators, and various associations who deal with tourism. They must study details of National War Memorial on our website, on the app, for accurate account so that they can guide the visitors. They must include the contents of National War Memorial in the training curriculums in various institutes that run the courses for the guides or for those who operate in tourism industry. Include these details in leaflets, flyers, and social media. It will be great if we can host the link of National War Memorial app and the website on various websites that deal with tourism.
We'll do that. It's a good suggestion.
Please include National War Memorial in your tour circuits and itineraries whenever you plan such visits. At this juncture, let me quote a sentence or a statement made by Honorable Prime Minister when the project was sanctioned. And I quote, National War Memorial must be visit, or it is a must visit place for every Indian, unquote. And I can add that we must promote foreign travelers to also visit this great monument. Well, to conclude, I must say that National War Memorial is not a tourist destination for Indians. It's a place to pay obeisance to our fallen heroes. National War Memorial is symbolic of India's determination of safeguarding its territorial integrity and India's commitment to ensure safety of not only our countrymen, but those fighting for peacekeeping operations overseas. It's a sacred place that will make you feel proud. आपको गर्व महसूस होगा, गौरवान्वित फील करेंगे. It will bring in sense of belonging. After all these soldiers who join armed forces are from amongst us. We are the ones. हम लोग होते हैं जो जाते हैं सेना में. We Indians, गांवों से, शहरों से, लड़के लड़कियां, children next door. They are the ones who make up Bharatiya Sena. I must thank Ministry of Tourism, Honorable Minister Shri Arvind Singh Ji, Secretary Tourism, the DG Tourism Shri Rao, EDG Ms. Rupinder Barar, who's the Sutradhar of this program, and not to forget my friend DDG Shri Venkateshan and Ms. Mautoshi Ji, an entire support team of Ministry of Tourism. I don't know their names, but I'm sure many of them must be there to put up this show and ensure it to happen. Before I close, I want to just say 2-3 sentences. I like to mention that when I used to be there at the National War Memorial, often many people will come and mention to me. लोग कहते थे कि साहब हमको भी आर्मी में जाना था, हमको भी देश की सेवा करनी थी. We also wanted to join armed forces, but मुझे selection नहीं हुआ. Or I still want to do something for the country. My message to them was very clear, very simple. I used to say, सभी को आर्मी में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. Not everyone need to join armed forces. We as citizens of this country can do so much for the country. We can do our bit for the nation's well-being, even while in civis. हम बिना फौज में आए देश के लिए बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं. Just do our karma most sincerely. अपना काम sincerely करें. अपना जो भी रोल हो, जहां पर भी हो, चाहे आप टीचर हैं, चाहे आप स्टूडेंट हैं, चाहे आप व्यापारी हैं, whoever you are, पूरी लगन से करें. In other words, be good citizens, worthy of being defended by the armed forces, worthy of the supreme sacrifices made by our soldiers for our safety, security, and for ensuring our territorial integrity. With this, I must close and say, Jai Hind Ki Sena and Jai Hind. I'm now open to questions if there are any.
Thank you, Major General Alok Raj. That was indeed an amazing presentation, viewers. And what do we say? I think that is a sentence that I will remind all my viewers. Ye dil mange more, right? And we know who said that. That's the jasba of our forces, and so well brought out by General Alok Raj today. We are, much beyond the time, but that always happens. That's the beauty of our incredible India, that we go on and then we realize time khatam ho gaya, because we are a country that is truly incredible and guarded by our incredible soldiers who are, today you saw soldiers killed in action, but there are so many even now as we sit here in the comfort of our homes, standing on the borders, guarding us. So many places around the country, along the borders, with international borders being guarded by our forces. Mr. Rao spoke about that in the beginning. The PhD Chambers of Commerce has been working with us very closely to bring you the many, many places that India has along its borders. So do visit these amazing places, but don't forget to visit the National War Memorial. I also cannot stop myself from sharing one quote from Chandrasekhar Azad ji. दुश्मन की गोलियां का हम सामना करेंगे, आजाद ही रहे हैं, आजाद ही रहेंगे. So it is, I think these are the kind of sentiments. And then one more thing which very nicely put down by Major General, not everybody joins the armed forces to build the country. The Honorable Prime Minister has been talking about an Atmanirbhar Bharat. All of us, बच्चे, बूढ़े, जवान, महिलाएं, आदमी, जो भी हैं, जो भी आप काम कर रहे हैं, कोई भी काम छोटा नहीं है. हर काम मिलकर ही भारत आत्मनिर्भर और 21st सेंचुरी का नया भारत बनेगा. तो सब लोग जुड़िए और बनाइए अपने देश को और ज्यादा strong. Because what do they say? They say a thoughtful mind, when it sees a nation's flag, sees not the flag, but the nation itself. So with those words, I'm going to also salute all of you with a Jai Hind and thank everyone who joined in today. Thank you, Mr. Rao, our DG, who joined in especially for this episode. Very special thanks, of course, to Major General Alok Raj ji. Thank you to Team NEGD, who keeps bringing us the facility of this platform. And most importantly, to all the viewers, all the ex-army men, the current army men, the cadets, the forces, everybody who has joined in today. Bahut bahut dhanyawad. Thanks for encouraging us. We'll see you next Saturday, 11 a.m. with another episode of Dekho Apna Desh. Tab tak, namaste. A very nice namaste. ठंड में ध्यान रखिए अपना, मास्क पहनिए, 2 गज की दूरी रखिए और वैक्सीनेशन जरूर लगवाइए. हम मिलेंगे आपको अगले सैटरडे 11 बजे. तब तक जय हिंद.